Hello everyone, welcome to my series about all Mozart's piano sonatas. Today episode number 3, the third movement of Sonata in C major, the Köchel Catalog 279, written by 17 years old Wolfgang. Written for himself because he performed these sonatas, of course, himself many times. The third movement, the last movement, so with this video we will finish the first sonata and we will have it complete. I have a special kind of strategy for this video because also this movement is again different than the first and the second. We can feel that Mozart is still experimenting, having a lot of fun and a huge and very rich imagination. So traditionally, let's start from the music. I play for you the exposition because this third movement is also in the sonata form. If you don't know what the sonata form is, just in case, there is a video. I mean, there are hundreds of videos about it, but there is my video which I recommend you to do, and I in very simple words explain what is the sonata form. And this video I made about 2 years ago, so you can find it on YouTube. So I'm not going to repeat myself. The exposition of the sonata form when we have two themes, and this is repeated, so I will play it for you 2 times so that it can come into our heads, just in case you don't know this music, because not everybody knew this music. I didn't know this, for example, just a few months ago, or actually I knew this sonata, but not that well. So to have it clear, let's just enjoy the music, and then I will tell you something after that will completely change your approach to this music and also how you will listen to it in the future. Repetition. Okay, what do we hear? Light, fast, virtuoso, happy music. Of course, music to show off, not easy to play, and also if you are a good listener, you've heard also the big changes of the dynamic, so of soft and loud. These changes are written by Mozart. These changes are not made by me as a performer and interpreter. I'm just being so humble to just do everything that Mozart wrote. And I don't think we need to do anything extra because it just sounds fantastically, as long as we do everything that he wrote. But now I have to tell you something. When I was making analysis, one day suddenly the idea came to my mind, and then like my eyes opened and my brain opened. And today I will share it with you because I think it's a great, and maybe even Mozart himself was thinking that way. We will never know if he really did, maybe not. But for me it's just so obvious that I can't help analyzing this music in this way. I know I'm still mysterious, so just you wait. I will tell you this now. So, of course, it's a piano sonata, but I think that Mozart had a little different idea, and I see in this music the violin concerto, but transcribed for piano. But the real music that we hear is just taken from the violin concerto. Mozart, being 19 years old, could already compose and composed piano concertos. He knew how to compose a concerto. You know what concerto is? Orchestra and the soloist. And here we have it, and Mozart is helping us with differentiating those two by writing the dynamic. So the analysis of this sonata, of course, will be a little traditional, but I will not be that strict about A, B, C, D. We will not use the letters in this. I don't think it's necessary. But I will analyze it in that way that you will never ever listen to this sonata in the same way that you did before this video. So please stay until the end to discover this beauty. So like every concerto, as you know, the classical especially concerto starts not with the soloist but from the tutti, the orchestra tutti. Orchestra plays and prepares the soloist. Then the soloist comes and usually, well, it depends on the concerto, but showing off technique and just being a soloist, right? So now just listen to the group of the first theme. If you like letters, it will be the big A, but forget it. Just the group of the first theme. And this group of the first theme is very interestingly written. First the tutti, then the soloist, and then again the orchestra in a very beautiful way. Okay, listen. That's the group of the first theme. And now, what do we have here? Orchestra tutti. When the group of violins start, this is a very important two notes. Very important for the whole sonata, so remember them. And then they play fast. And then the cello comes. And then the whole group of instruments. And then the soloist comes. But here we have let's go back to the beginning. The violin, the group of violin play this melody, but then at the bottom of this, I mean, in the background, we have the whole group orchestra commenting this. You know? This is something that I want you to remember. That's why I repeat it many times, and I will repeat it many times. So, but after that, and now here we have to stop a little bit because this is something that I really want to point out and show you because it's very important and also very beautiful. The soloist comes, and first of all, why I think it's a violin? Why not something else? Of course, it can be something else, but for me, especially this first coming of soloist is a pure violin written piece. because of what Mozart is doing with the articulation. Articulation is the way we play, the way we, well, you know, if we have, let's say, 8 notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and even if they are written exactly the same way, but there is something that we call articulation, and we can use the slurs, like lines or dots, to show the performer how we want him or her to articulate these 8 notes. And it can be, these 8 notes can be, for example, all together in one line, which sounds like this. This is glued together, right? We can have dots, then we have staccato, but we also can have many other options. For example, we can have 4 slurs and then another 4 slurs. Sounds very different, right? Or we can have 3 slur and 1 dot. Or we can have 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. The same notes, the same tempo, but very different articulation. And now here, that's why I wrote here myself that in this part, the soloist part, articulation is the main source of expression, if I can say so. The main, maybe not source, the main way of expression. This is the better word. Mozart expresses himself by writing articulation. And this articulation, I can show you, this articulation is very I'm not sure if you saw it because the camera, I don't see myself, so I don't know. But I hope I'm still sharp now, and everything is okay. But anyway, we have slurs and dots and slurs and dots. And now, my friends, very important thing. To play Mozart well, one of the most important things we have to do is we have to carefully follow and realize all the articulation marks that he made himself. I will explain for you to this because I want you, even if you are not a musician, and I hope we also have here not non-musicians, not only musicians, because as you can see, for musicians I don't have to explain what is staccato, what is legato, what is the articulation, but I really want everybody to understand, because you don't need to study 5 years to understand these basic things, and yet then listening to the music has completely new perspective, in my opinion. So I will show you what the difference it is if the pianist, and unfortunately very often it happens that pianists, they just don't give a damn, sorry for the word, to the articulation marks, which is so sad and disappointing. And I think Mozart himself would be very, very angry about it, because the difference is huge. Let's first listen to this soloist again. That's the soloist. That's the soloist. And why I think it's violin? Because I didn't finish my thought. Because in violin it's very easy to make these articulation changes by changing the bowing. That's why. And Mozart was a great violin player as well. So just to be sure about where it starts, where the soloist starts, let's play from the beginning. The tutti. Soloist. And now I play for you the soloist slower, articulating exactly the way Mozart wrote. And now, can you hear the difference? I will now explain to you exactly. We have 8 notes in every bar. And every bar is articulated differently, almost every bar. Listen, first bar, the first 4 notes, they have nothing, which means that they can be detached. Not because we don't have the snare. So then the next 4 notes have the snare. So we have the next bar is very interesting. The first 4 notes has the snare. The next 4 notes has 2 little snares. Then the next bar is also different. The first 4 notes has the snare on 3 of them, and then a dot, which means a staccato, and then 2 little snares later. So absolutely fantastic. The next bar, 4 and 4. Sorry, 4, 2 and 2. The next bar, 3 and the dot, and then detached. Then 4 and 4, 3 and the dot, and detached. Why I am so detailed here and so precise? Because I really think, as a composer as well, that this is the most important thing. And now I will show you how drastically different it sounds when the pianist just don't do it. I play for you now wrongly. So just, we don't care about the articulation at all. Sorry. For me, my friends, this is boring, flat, and just ugly. And cheap music. But I mean, not Mozart. What I want to really point out and put the emphasis to is that articulation is a fundamental thing to make music interesting, and is changing completely the way the music sounds. Now, to prove my words, listen to the same exact moment, but played how he wrote. We must do it. You see, it's completely different. And musicians who don't do it, they don't understand the responsibility that they have for the listener. And poor listeners, if they are unlucky to be on the concert when the artist is not doing this, the public, the listener can say, "Oh, I hate Mozart. It's just the music about nothing. I don't like it. It's light. It's boring. It's just every time the same thing. Nothing is in this music. It's just cheap, light music, pop music. No. I like Brahms, Chopin, Liszt, or Schumann. Oh, this I love." There is a huge responsibility, because I really believe what I played for you makes a huge difference, and I hope you agree with me. Because I can't prove you more than this. So anyway, coming back to the point, this is the soloist, and what happens after that? It's not so easy to say, but most likely orchestra is coming to conclude the first part, and we have a flute here, the flute, you know, and then the clarinet. Sorry, the clarinet repeating what flute played. Let's play again this group of first theme. Tutti. Sorry. The soloist. Flute. Clarinet. second theme. Very important. So I'll play for you now the first part of it, and then we will talk about it. Enough. So, the second theme, I think, what I see in the score, that the soloist plays this. The violin. Okay, this is the soloist, and then orchestra is commenting what he plays. So, orchestra, 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 and now this moment is ended with a very important motif. This is important, so please remember that. This is suspended notes, so like suspended note, minor second, so, and crossing the hands. I'm talking about that because we need this for later, okay? So this is the end of the second theme. I mean, for the first phrase of the second theme, it's not the end, because after this crossing hands, immediately we have forte and we have the cellos played in octaves. So no, it was not Liszt who first invented octaves, of course. Mozart, or even Scarlatti before Mozart, they already used it. But anyway, after that we have another showing of the soloist. Sorry. The taka 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 taka. I can clearly see when I close my eyes the violin player. And then the orchestra ends. Concludes, we will say. So listen to this again. Soloist. And now we have another part when they are talking with each other. The soloist is talking with the orchestra, and they are saying the same thing. And finally, orchestra concludes this little play. Listen, soloist, orchestra, soloist, orchestra. It's a very short part, but very, very funny, because Mozart repeats the same motif. We could repeat this for until tomorrow, you know. My God, when will it end? Finally, the orchestra gets angry and says, "Come on, finish this." And they finish that. Enough. Listen again, and now I will not say a word. Whenever you hear it soft, then it means it's a soloist. Whenever it's loud, it's an orchestra. And then we have the epilogue. Listen, the soloist, orchestra, soloist, orchestra. And that's the end of the exposition. Now I should play it again from the beginning, but I will not, because of saving the time, and I will, anyway, at the end of the video, I will play again for you the whole thing. So let's go to the next part. The next part, my friends, I didn't play it, so I have to play it for you first, is of course a development section, when a composer is playing with the motifs that we've heard before. And of course it should start from the first theme. But it doesn't. Just listen. I'm sure you will immediately know what it starts from. exposition. We didn't even notice, right? That suddenly, oh, this is the beginning. Exposition. The development section is short, but it's just perfect in length because I counted bars, and believe it or not, this is exactly, the development section has exactly half of the amount of bars that the exposition had. Exactly half. So Mozart was probably counting, because Mozart wanted to use the perfect proportions taken from the ancient times, like in the typical classical era, right? So he wanted the development section to be half of the exposition. It's gorgeous, fantastic. It's just as short as it should be. So what we hear, I would say it has two parts, in fact. In the first part, Mozart is playing with the second theme, and so we have that, like the second theme. But what we have first, the soloist is playing here, and the orchestra is commenting. But now orchestra plays the same thing that the soloist played before, and the soloist is commenting. And then the conclusion. This conclusion is taken from maybe the beginning, or from the end. This, but it's not that important. What is really important here is that they are exchanging their themes, their motifs, right? First the soloist, orchestra, and now orchestra, and soloist is just commenting. My friends, listen to this. What happens here is unbelievable. Mozart starts to use the first theme in the development section, and we are approaching the recapitulation, so the exposition again, but at the end. That's the name is Recapitulation. And what happens here? Mozart, 19 years old Mozart, is already thinking about polyphony, but I would more say imitations of imitation. He wants to write a little like Johann Sebastian Bach, like Baroque, even though classical period didn't like Baroque at all. They just neglected it. But he is playing with motifs, and now I wrote here myself, and so that I share it for you. This part of development section for me is like a fight between two hands, of which hand will play the theme in the recapitulation at the beginning, because the theme has to go back. But left hand says to right hand, "Hey, come on! You played it at the beginning. Let me play it. I want to play it. Please, you played too many times. I want to play it now." But right hand doesn't surrender. He says, "No, you cannot do it. I do it." And left hand push it and say, "No, let me play it. I can prove that I can also play it." Then right hand, boom, says, "No, I can do it. I must do it. I did it before and I can do it again." Then left hand says again, "Please, I can even play faster notes in this, in the first theme." And then the right hand, boom, again, and conclude the whole first tutti section, because it's a tutti. I explained it for you. Now let's listen to this. I play slower for all of you too. Absolutely gorgeous. Now, again, with my little explanation. Right hand, left, right, left, right, right, exposition. The soloist is coming. Flute, clarinet, silence, and then the second theme. Soloist, orchestra, soloist, orchestra, soloist, orchestra. Now this cellist, soloist, orchestra, and then soloist, orchestra, soloist, orchestra. And now we should have what? We should have it instead. Listen again. Ha ha ha. Now you understand why I was focusing so much on this. Sorry. On this ending of the second theme, first motif, first phrase, sorry, with these hands, you know, and the suspended notes. Do you still remember this? Because my friends, here something very strange happens, something that at that time listeners could easily catch. Nowadays in 21st century we don't give a damn. We don't think about it at all. We don't even notice that because we don't have knowledge enough. But that time for people who Mozart played, I'm sure that they were more educated in music, and because music was very different than now. I mean, it was much less music in general, much less genres, right? And no YouTube, no internet, nothing. Anyway, they knew. So when they heard this here, suddenly they thought like, wait. Why? I mean, even our subconscious is doing this. Why here? Well, it was already a mistake. And this is a shock. And after that, Mozart is concluding the sonata. But first, he again writes the second theme, a little, very shy. Soloist. And then orchestra repeats. Concludes everything, and then we have the regular ending. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. And the whole sonata is ending. And the whole sonata ends. Sorry for my English. Anyway, this is the end. This is the end of the first sonata. I'm absolutely in love with this, the whole sonata, and I think that I will be in love with every sonata if I go deeper into it and I analyze it, because this is written by genius, and Mozart never wrote a piece of music without this genius sign, without trying to experiment on something, trying to have fun and impress us with something. And there's so much in it, and I'm sure I didn't talk about everything, and I didn't maybe even discover everything that we have here, but I'm happy with what I discovered because it's just fantastic. So now let's listen again from the beginning to the end, and I will be your guide so that you can know exactly where we are. Tutti. Soloist. Flute. Clarinet. Second theme. Soloist. Then this. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. right between two hands. Soloist. Flute. Clarinet. Second theme. Soloist. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. And now shock. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. Soloist. Orchestra. And the end of the fantastic sonata, which surely made people happy, and put them on the floor. Thank you very much. As you can see, I had so much fun in this. We finished the first sonata, 17 more sonatas to go. I will not rush with them because, as you can see, to prepare it takes time. If still somebody, if you watched all the 3 episodes and if you still think, like many people, that Mozart is A, easy to play, B, boring and not interesting, or C, cheap and not deep at all and just doing nothing, I hope you are not thinking like that anymore. If you have some friends who think like that, please send them these 3 videos, maybe they will change their mind. So he was a fantastic pianist, one of best of his times, maybe the best, together with Clementi, but also a very imaginative and genius composer. And he wrote this for himself, and I as a pianist can feel this is, my friends, not easy at all. So for me to prepare the next sonatas, of course it will take time, so please be patient, but I promise I will finish this project and there will be all sonatas analyzed and played for you. Thank you and bye bye.